Today on NFL Draft Digest, we're talking about quarterbacks, the top quarterbacks in this 2010 NFL Draft. What we want to do is start with the seniors, and then we'll go into the juniors, and then we'll go into some other quarterbacks that will be able to be drafted here in this year's NFL Draft. Well, talking with seniors, I think you've got to start with Colt McCoy. As far as a player who's played all 4 years for the University of Texas, a guy who's made a lot of plays, but also has had some concerns of playing against good defenses, as well as the injury concern that he had in the national championship game. Also his game that he had against Nebraska in the Big 12 championship game. A little bit undersized, needs to get a little bit stronger in the weight room, but a good overall player. And then you go to the next top senior quarterback, and that's probably going to be Tim Tebow, the quarterback there from Florida. Yes, he does have some awkward throwing motions, keeps the ball a little bit low, needs some ability to read the defenses, but he's a guy who a lot of teams like, probably in the second round. And then the third quarterback that we're going to talk about senior-wise is Tony Pike, a guy who is a big pocket passer, but played majority in the shotgun there at Cincinnati. Will need to be able to go under center. Needs to get a little bit stronger, but a guy who's probably drafted in the second round, a poor man's Joe Flacco. Going to the junior classes, this is where we started to ramp up the talent. We've got Sam Bradford, last year's Heisman Trophy winner, 2 shoulder injuries, but a guy who's played well, obviously as a sophomore to win the Heisman, and a guy who not only needs to be able to get under center and take some snaps, but also get bigger and stronger, and he will do that. But he's an accurate passer, and he's a winner. A guy who could be the #1 overall pick, possibly. Well, obviously, we've got a lot of time to get through this whole process. Then you got Jimmy Clausen, a junior there out of Notre Dame. Had one good season, his junior season, but has a toe injury. He's going to have to get gotten that cleaned up there, got that taken care of. But also will miss the NFL Combine because of that injury. Won't be able to compete, but will have his pro day at Notre Dame. And then you go to a surprising underclassman that came out, Jevan Snead. Now, a lot of people had him as the #1 as far as underclassmen when we started the season, but inconsistencies, not putting up to his performance there at Ole Miss has really taken his stock kind of down. So those are kind of probably the 3, really top-notch underclassmen and the 3 senior guys that we're talking about. And then as far as when we're talking about other guys that obviously when we get more into this process, we'll get into deeper depth here, NFL Draft Digest and NFL Draft Bible. We'll talk further more on this information. But you've got guys like Dan Lefevre from Central Michigan. You've got as far as Jarrett Brown from West Virginia, Tim Hiller from Western Michigan University, Darrell Clark from Penn State, Jonathan Crompton from Tennessee, Sean Cantfield from Oregon State. Some other guys that will be in that mix in that process of senior quarterbacks, and we'll kind of get them all ranked here. But we just talked about the top 3 senior quarterbacks and the top 3 junior quarterbacks. I think when you rank those guys, probably Jimmy Clausen right now is the #1 overall quarterback prospect in the 2010 NFL Draft. Then Sam Bradford, then probably Colt McCoy. People like his ability, possibly a late first, early second round. Jevan Snead, a guy who probably should have came out early, but did. But he's a guy who people like his physical tools. And then you've got Tim Tebow, then rounding out those top 6, probably Tony Pike. But we'll get into that process much deeper here. Well, thanks for watching this edition of NFL Draft Digest. I'm Justin VanFulpen. You can catch me on NFLDraftBible.com. That's NFLDraftBible.com. You can also go to JocksRaps.com. I do some writing on that site as well. And then my blog, which is NFLNext.blogsport.com. That's NFLNext.blogsport.com. So look forward to talking with you further. Our next episode, we'll talk about the running backs and kind of get a little bit brief overview of those. And then we'll start getting those position-wise. And then as we get farther to this process with the NFL Combine, that's going to come up. And then obviously we have the All-Star games, the Senior Bowl, East-West Shrine Game, the Texas First Nation. We'll get some more in depth on these players. So again, thanks for watching. And this is Justin VanFulpen.